Unshakable Confidence, Building the Foundation for Success, read by the author DrStem Stembile Mahlatini. Introduction. Confidence is one of those things that seem like a catch-22. Self-confidence is linked to almost every element involved in a happy and fulfilling life. Why is confidence the key to almost everything? I mean, peace, happiness, success, and more. Well, let's take a look at the benefits of being a more confident you. Benefit number 1, less fear and anxiety. The more confident you become, the more you'll be able to calm the voice inside you that says, I can't do it. You'll be able to unhook from your thoughts and take action in line with your values, your dreams, and desires. If you've suffered from low self-confidence, you're probably familiar with the word rumination, or the tendency to think over and over and worry again and again about mistakes, or replaying those things that didn't work over and over again. Excessive rumination is linked to both anxiety and depression, and it can make us withdraw from the world. But by filling up your tank with confidence, you'll be able to break the cycle of overthinking and quiet your inner critic. Benefit number 2, greater motivation. Building confidence means taking small steps that leave a lasting sense of accomplishment. If you've ever learned a language, mastered a skill, reached a fitness goal, or otherwise overcome setbacks to get where you wanted to be, you're well on your way. You might be thinking, well, sure, I was proud of my A that I got in school, but what does that have to do with anything now? If you think back to a key accomplishment in your life, you'll likely find that it took a lot of perseverance and persistence. If you could triumph through that adversity, then you can do it again in other areas of your life where you feel self-doubt. As your confidence grows, you'll find yourself more driven to stretch your abilities. What if thoughts that still will arrive, they will still arise in you? What if? What if I can't do it? What if this doesn't work? Paralyzing, yes, but because of that experience, you'll be able to grin and act anyway, feeling energized by the progress that you made before. Benefit number 3, more resilience. Confidence gives you the skills and coping methods to handle setbacks and failure. Self-confidence doesn't mean that you won't sometimes fail, because you will, but you will know that you can handle challenges and not be crippled by them. So even when things don't turn out anywhere close to what you planned, you'll be able to avoid beating yourself up for not having accomplished everything. As you keep pushing yourself to try new things, you start to truly understand how failure and mistakes lead to personal growth. An acceptance that failure is part of life will start to take root with confidence. Surprisingly, by being more willing to fail, you will actually succeed more, because you're not waiting for everything to be 100% perfect before you act. Taking more shots will mean making more of them, and also anticipating success each time that you take a chance. Benefit number 4, improved relationships. It might seem counterintuitive, but when you have more self-confidence, you are less focused on yourself. We've all been guilty of walking into a room and thinking, oh, they're all looking at me. They all think I look dumb, and that every word I say is stupid. They don't believe me. The truth is, people are wrapped up in their own thoughts and worries. When you get out of your head, you'll be able to genuinely engage with others. You will enjoy the interactions more because you won't be so worried about the kind of impression you're making, and you won't be comparing yourself to others. Your relaxed state will put others at ease as well, helping you go deeper and connect deeper with them. Self-confidence can also bring about deeper empathy. When you're fully present, you're more likely to notice that your date seems to be a little down, or that a friend in the corner looks like she needs a shoulder to cry on. Your family needs your support, or whatever it is that might be surrounding you. When you're preoccupied with your own self-doubt, you can be the person who reaches out to others but is not that helpful. Benefit number 5, stronger sense of your authentic self. With more confidence, you will be able to celebrate your strengths, your authenticity, the real you that you are. Your actions will become, the principles that give you greater sense of purpose. You actually have the courage to show your skills, to stand up and speak up for what you believe and what you know, without worry of who's judging you or who believes you or who doesn't believe you. In other words, you'll be able to let your best self shine through with unshakable confidence. So in this guide, I will be walking you through a simple process to build your confidence. We'll talk about every aspect of where confidence affects and how you can easily change each aspect of your life to build more unshakable confidence. Connecting with your inner power. At a basic level, an unconfident person is someone who has lost touch with his or her inner power. How do I know? Because your inner power is where confidence comes from. If I asked you to describe yourself, you'd likely start with a physical description. Or perhaps you mention some of the roles that you've played in your daily life, like I'm a mother, a wife, a brother, an employee, a business owner, and so on. But those things are not who you are. They are what you do. The person you are is the very essence of your being. This might be called your soul, your higher self, or your authentic self. The label is not important here, just the acknowledgement that you are more than the physical appearance or the work that you do. Your inner essence is wise, powerful, and all-knowing. He or she has a keen intuition and a bottomless inner reservoir of strength. This part of you, of the inner self, has a complete understanding of your true potential and constantly tries to bring it to your attention. If you're like the majority of people, you haven't been listening. You probably identify more with your physical self than your inner self. And you probably focus more on your outer life than your inner life. I can imagine you asking with surprise, what do you mean an inner life? Do I have an inner life? Yes, you do. We all do. However, in this modern age of noise, busyness, it's extremely easy to get distracted by external influences and lose touch with our inner power. At first, this doesn't seem to affect us much. We still continue on our daily lives, working, playing, taking care of obligations and responsibilities. However, as time goes on, we may notice that we feel a little more spacey, mentally exhausted, and a little less in tune with our lives. Our inner voice, intuition, if you will, seems to dim and grow distant, so we can barely hear it anymore. If we ignore these warning signs, they usually grow in intensity until we feel completely out of touch, confused, fatigued, weary, and powerless over our lives. We realize too late that we've forgotten who we are or who we once were. However, all is not lost. It is very simple to reconnect with your inner self, to tap into your inner power and blast your unshakable self-confidence through the roof. And when you do, you'll be able to create a life of such passion, joy, and purpose that you'll be sure not to repeat the same mistakes that led you to disconnect with your inner self in the first place. In order to reconnect with your inner power, you need to take a little trip to the very heart of yourself. You need to turn away from outer distractions on a regular basis so you can be reunited with your authentic inner self. You'll be surprised to learn that this process doesn't take a lot of time. So don't let the words on a regular basis throw you off track and start saying, I don't even have time for myself right now. There are several ways to reconnect, and all of them involve spending some quality time alone. Here are a few good ways to start. Number one, spend time in daily meditation. If you've never meditated before, don't worry. It's very simple to do. First, find a place to be alone and focus on quietening your mind. If you feel tense or anxious, try a few minutes of slow, deep breathing. And concentrate on releasing the tension from your body. So try breathing in at least 3 to 5 times where it's just breathing in and breathe out. When you feel relaxed and calm, turn your attention to your thoughts. Try to make your mind go blank and let go of any thoughts that are bothering you. Do this for as long as possible if you can. 10 or 15 minutes is good. And then as you get more relaxed with time, you can do at least 20, 30 minutes of just breathing and then allowing your mind to go blank where you're not thinking about anything, but you're just relaxed. Over time, you will notice yourself feeling much more balanced and centered and in touch with your inner self. Number 2, record your thoughts and feelings in a journal. This is a great way to learn more about yourself, as well as giving you a clear record of the progress that you are making. You don't have to have a good, writing skills or, be able to spell correctly to journal your thoughts and feelings. Just write. Because this is for you. So write for yourself and for yourself only. Don't worry about the spelling or the grammar. If you can understand your chicken scratch, then that's all that counts. I suggest that you start each entry with an opener like, today I feel ... because ... Today I feel such because such. This will lead you to more and more things to write about. And before you know it, you have filled an entire page. Doing this daily will help you tap into your stream of consciousness and connect with your deeper thoughts. Believe it or not, that's how many people start writing their books, by just writing a journal of their thoughts and their feelings on a day-to-day basis. And before they know it, they have all these pages that can now be put into a book. I'm not scaring you and trying to make you write a book, but just, release those thoughts and feelings from your mind and write them down in a journal. Number 3, embrace the silence. This exercise can seem challenging for even the most courageous among us, simply because most of us are not used to complete silence. Usually we have the TV on, radio, computer, or other people around us to distract us. So the thought of sitting in absolute silence and letting your thoughts drift might not sound appealing to you. It might even sound scary or even perhaps boring. However, please don't dismiss it so quickly. Give it a try over the space of a week, and I bet you grow to love those quiet moments. If you can sit outside in a natural setting, it's even more effective. You won't believe how calm and refreshed that you will feel after this exercise. And you'll carry the feeling of inner peace into everything that you do. So how do these exercises reconnect you to your inner power? They simply get you back in touch with the deepest part of yourself. Imagine if you had a best friend that you never spoke to, acknowledged, or even spent quality time with. How would your friend feel about that? Very likely he or she would feel slighted, neglected, and distanced from you. Most of us would never dream of treating our friends so terribly and horribly. Yet that's exactly what we do to our own inner selves. We ignore them completely and then wonder why we feel so empty and disconnected. When you begin devoting some attention to your inner self again, he or she blossoms. You rediscover your passion, joy, and validity. You awaken that inner awareness and that interconnectedness within you. So don't be surprised if you also begin to feel closer to your friends, family members, co-workers, clients, when you begin connecting with your very own inner self. All of this is the result of a deep connection with yourself. Finally, and most importantly, you begin more and more feeling positive about yourself again. You'll feel less tempted to be harsh with yourself, and you'll be able to better appreciate yourself genuinely and sincerely. You'll have more patience with yourself, more patience with others, and you'll discover a tiny seed of strength and power growing within you. Hence, you'll be eager to burst forth into a new life. And that's unshakable confidence. Chapter 1, Honoring Your Strength. The more aware of your inner self you are, the more easily you'll be able to recognize and honor your strengths. By strengths, I mean the things that you are naturally good at, or that you've become good at through repetition or even learned. Honoring your strength is an important part of building your confidence. because your confidence is often based on your perception of your own capabilities. If you believe you're good at communication, you approach all communication with a very high level of confidence. If you believe you stink at athletics, guess what? You give them less effort because deep inside you, you always have this little voice telling you that you're not good enough, so don't bother. Recognizing your strength can be very challenging if you don't already have strong self-confidence, because your belief in your abilities is likely going to be very low. Even if you do have the talent in a certain area, you may not believe that you do, so you won't see it as an asset. What you need to do is to start small, and that starts with having even the smallest of confidence to believe in what you can and cannot do. First, let's do this. Get a clean sheet of paper and a pen and begin writing down anything that you may think or that you know you're naturally good at. So write a list of all those things that you know you're good at. Don't worry if you're not great at it. Just focus on the things that you know you can do well for now. List the things that seem to come to you easily, or things that you're pretty confident, you feel pretty confident doing. For example, sports that you play, organization, writing, event planning, photography, cooking, computer gaming. I'm really good at inspiring, encouraging, empowering others, coaching, counseling. So whatever it is, keep writing and writing the things that you're good at. Next, write down anything that you've become somewhat experienced in, like things that you've had to do in your job or activities that you've gained a certain level of mastery over. Those things that you've learned and now you're good at. Well, let's say driving, accounting, dancing, juggling, salesmanship, customer service, coaching, counseling, speaking, being a trainer, any of those kind of things that you have learned and now you've mastered and you know now that you're now good at. Are you surprised that your list is not as empty as you feared? Well, it gets better. Now I want you to write down your positive character traits, the things that you believe yourself to be. For an example, kind, friendly, loving, trusting, patient, and so on. Look back at your list for a moment and pay particular attention to the activities that you've mastered as you did them over and over. And now here's the $1 million question. If you were capable of learning and excelling at all those activities that you wrote down, aren't you capable of mastering even more? Of course you are. So are you feeling a bit more optimistic about your potential now? Are you beginning to see that by expanding your beliefs and honoring your strengths, you actually can achieve more and anything that you desire? As you get into the habit of honoring your strengths and stretching your limits, little by little, your confidence will begin to grow. And eventually the process becomes much easier, because the more confidence you have, the more quickly that you can build even more. Chapter 2. Affirming your abilities. Now that you have a clear idea of your strengths, it's time to begin affirming or recognizing your abilities. This may seem like the same thing, but it's quite different. Your strengths are things that you're naturally good at or that you have become good at. Your abilities, on the other hand, are all about your potential. One major step in building your confidence is becoming aware of your potential for growth. So the exercise of writing down your strengths was a good start, and likely it gave you an insight into your capabilities. Now you need to explore those capabilities a bit further. So what I want you to do is to take another sheet of writing paper, or even take your journal, which is even better, because as you go through this Unshakable Confidence building book, I want you to be able to write in one book. That way you can get to review everything that you've written and get over it again and again until your confidence is truly unshakable and strong. So go ahead and take another sheet of paper and write down everything that you've ever attempted, not succeeded at yet, but anything that you've simply tried to do. Your list can include things that are obvious, like walking, exercising, cooking, driving, taking classes, dancing, dating, eating, drinking, working, starting a business, swimming, and so on. Also include the things that you may have tried once, like skydiving, singing, marriage, business, and so on. After you've written down everything you can think of, look over your list and put a check mark next to the things in which you have experienced success. Even if you were only successful slightly at something you only tried once, it wasn't a complete disaster, so check it as success. Did you know that one definition of success is a favorable result? Success is having a favorable result. That insight changes your perspective, doesn't it? Because many a time we think success is when you complete something and it's completely done and completely successful. But no, when you get a favorable result of even trying, that's success. Now take a look at the list again. Are the majority of the items on the list checked? I bet you they are, because if you tried it, you were successful at trying. Why do you think that that's important? Because it means that simply trying something once or more than once will result in a certain measure of success. It means that you're not as stupid or as ineffective as you may have thought or as you think. If you were even moderately successful at the items that are on your list, doesn't it follow that you were successful and that you could and you will be successful at other things too? When you really get this and you really get to understand it and give yourself credit for everything that you're doing and trying, it's a huge insight. Okay. Now, what if you only have a couple of items checked off and the rest on your list are unchecked? First, reconsider whether you're being too hard on yourself, which in many cases, we all are hard on ourselves. Is your concept of success in balance? Success doesn't have to mean perfection. If you were able to do well at something, even slightly well, or receive any kind of favorable result from it, That is success. Let's expand a bit on what is meant by favorable result. This doesn't have to be exclusive to external results. It can absolutely include favorable internal results. Well, here's a good example of a favorable internal result. Let's say you had to give a presentation at work and you were terrified of public speaking. You knew you couldn't back out of giving the presentation, so you forced yourself to do it. So even if you completely bombed and the presentation was terrible, you would still probably feel a sense of pride that you did it. You did your best. Facing a fear is absolutely a favorable result. Secondly, understand that the number of items checked off on your list doesn't matter a bit. Even if you only have one item checked off, it still stands to reason that if you were successful at one thing, you can be successful at many other things. So go easy on yourself and give yourself credit for everything that you have tried and everything that you have done so far. Chapter 3, Trusting Yourself. The exercises that you did in Chapter 2 and Chapter 1 were meant to help you rebuild some trust in yourself again. So don't be afraid to go back, re-listen to the exercise in Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 and do them over and over again until you can trust in yourself. When we fall out of touch with our inner selves, there's an unsettling sense of distrust that begins to brew beneath the surface. We feel like we cannot trust ourselves. We think that we are not good enough. The ego just starts playing with us in our minds. And then self-doubt creeps in. And what eventually happens is we begin to ignore the hunches and the gut feelings that would otherwise be a great asset in our lives. We just ignore that small voice within when we begin to doubt ourselves. So as you begin to spend more time with yourself and reconnect with your inner power, I want you to begin to honestly assess your strengths, your abilities, and begin to feel more in tune with your authentic self. Let's build an area where you can be your number one cheerleader, your number one marketer. You know how in business we're always talking about marketing, we're always talking about branding yourself. When you know your strengths and your abilities, it creates a unique brand, a brand that is you. So little by little, you're going to begin to trust in yourself again and rebuild the bonds that form a stable inner foundation. Over time, you realize that your inner self is not your enemy, but your greatest ally. You begin to understand that any failures or blockages that you experienced were a direct result of the disconnection from your inner self, and you commit to bridging the gap that you have created. Throughout this process, you may face some challenges, scary moments when you're not sure if you can trust your inner self. Perhaps you feel a nudge to move in a certain direction, and then you have doubts about whether it's a genuine insight or wishful thinking. Or you might feel confused and scattered, still unsure what your inner self is trying to convey to you. The best way to overcome these initial challenges is to keep testing the strengths, your inner strength, your inner connection. Start with something small, like asking your inner self to guide you in your decision making during an upcoming decision or task that you have to do. Then, as you are faced with choices during the day, I want to encourage you to take a pause for a moment and turn your attention inward as you consider your options. In other words, make time to just be still. See if you feel any physical sensation about a particular choice. Does your gut tighten with anxiety when you consider making a move? Or do you feel an inner urging to choose a certain option? If you feel comfortable trusting these hunches, go ahead and do so. You might be surprised by how accurate your initial hunches are. If you experience problems when you trust your intuition, simply keep working at it. And I know it may seem frightening at the beginning, but in very short order, you should be feeling much more confident about making decisions. And you also will start to notice that your choices are becoming wiser and more beneficial every day because you are listening to that inner voice. You're making time to really feel with every choice that you make, how am I feeling? How is this making me feel? And as you ask those constant questions, you begin to feel comfortable listening and waiting for direction. Besides strengthening your natural inner guidance moment to moment, you should also focus on learning to trust your higher self to know what is best for you in the grand scheme of things. Because too often we allow others to direct our lives because it's easier than forging our own path. We are afraid to upset someone or offend them or hurt their feelings, so we let go of controlling our own lives and let them do it for us. An example of that is staying in a relationship for too long when you know you're not happy, it's not serving you, you're doing most of the work in that relationship. You've been told or shown many times that I don't want you and I don't want to be with you. I'm only here, but my heart and soul is not with you. And trust me, I was in many relationships like that in my life where I didn't recognize that and I wanted to continue working and making it work. But then once I connected with my inner self, I realized that that's not serving me. That's allowing others to direct my life. And what am I afraid of? Of being on my own? Of really choosing me? Or am I afraid of upsetting them, the other person, by choosing to move on and be on my own? Those are some of the questions that you might have to ask yourself if you're in a relationship, in a job, in a place where you know your time is up and it's time to move on, but you've been stagnant. But that inner voice, your gut feeling keeps telling you that it is time. And yes, you're going to be guided, protected, and all will be well. As well intentioned as some people may be, they do not know better than we do what is best for us. So the choices that other people may make can be unfulfilling, misleading, or downright dangerous if we don't pay attention to our own needs and what our inner self is directing us to do. So make it your mission to trust your inner voice. Again, the more you spend time getting reacquainted with yourself, the more quickly that you'll gain a greater understanding of who you are and what you really want in your life. If you find yourself struggling to rebuild with your inner self, consider doing a simple exercise to get the ball rolling. For an example, Write an apology letter to your inner self. An apology for what, you might ask? Well, if you've ever put yourself down because you were not good at something, or belittled yourself, berated yourself, or gotten angry at yourself, or even if you've ever insulted yourself or thought of yourself, maybe even called yourself stupid, or refused to honor yourself in any way, you have a cycle of destruction in motion within yourself. So writing a letter of apology to your inner self can help reverse the process and get things moving in a positive, nurturing direction again. The letter doesn't have to be long or painfully detailed, just sincere. Tell your inner self that you never meant to be so harsh, demanding, close-minded, or impatient. Admit that you were not seeing the whole picture, and you now realize that your actions created an inner divide. Most importantly, stress your commitment to doing better. The point of this exercise is not to humiliate you or emphasize your wrongdoing. It's actually to help you see that your inner self doesn't deserve anger or abuse. Your inner self has been trying to reach out to you all along. You just were not willing to listen yet. Don't be hard on yourself for this, for it's something we all do to a certain degree. Just acknowledge that you're ready to begin changing your habits, changing the way you think, changing the way you see yourself, changing the way you see your life, and then go ahead and do it. As Nike says, just do it. Chapter 4, Expanding Your Vision. The stronger the connection that you have with your inner self, the easier that you'll be able to expand your vision. By this, I mean having the willingness to imagine more for your life. Low self-confidence usually results in small or non-existent dreams. If you don't believe that you're capable or deserving of something better, then naturally you will settle for what you can get. You may notice your vision automatically expanding as you begin to feel stronger, but you can also make it a more purposeful process. Here's a simple exercise to do. First, write a description of where you are in your life right now. Include every detail about your marital status, your friendships, your career, your financial situation, your health, fitness, and overall happiness. Note, which areas are you satisfied with, and those areas that you wish to improve as you write your list. Then review the descriptions and ask yourself if you have been holding back in any area of your life, and if any of those situations can be expanded. For example, you might enjoy your job as an accounting clerk, but you have a secret wish to go further and become an accountant. Lack of confidence may have prevented you from even considering going back to school for a degree. But as you build your confidence, you might be feeling a desire to expand that part of your life. Again, listen to those inner nudges, that inner voice. You don't have to take action on them right away, but at least be honest with yourself that you have a desire to accomplish more in your life. For each area of your life, consider ways to expand or improve upon each area. Remember, you're just brainstorming right now, just writing the list and just writing everything that has been on your heart. So don't censor yourself or go hard on yourself. Just go ahead and jot down every idea of what you might like to create in your life eventually. Periodically, revisit these notes and see if you are ready to make some changes. Ideally, you want to be in a mental state that makes challenges seem exciting, yet still you may have a little nerve racking moments sometimes when you start thinking about going back to school and having a whole year back in school or 2 years in school, or even doing homework. So here's the good thing about getting back in school. Getting back in school means you're doing something that somebody else has done before. The teachers are always ready to help out. The students that have graduated are always ready to help out. There are tutors, the tutoring programs in almost every school. They have a tutoring program or tutoring students or tutoring, staff that are there to help out with those that are starting over or those that are stuck somewhere. So I think when it comes to school, I just think that there are zero excuses that anybody cannot go back and do whatever they, desire to learn more about. So hint, if the thought of a particular challenge brings on a full-blown anxiety attack, it just means you're not ready, and it's okay to wait on it. And many a time I even tell people, hey, see if you can talk to someone, because as a professional counselor and coach myself, those are some of the things that I work with people to talk about what those anxiety attacks are, because then you also don't want to park your dream and desires and put them on park, because every time that you think about doing something, you're going to get a heart attack and anxiety attack, coming on. So sometimes it's better to just go on and have, sessions with a professional and then talk about them and see how you can better start and how you can get over some of those, attacks or the readiness to get you ready. The whole point of expanding your vision is really about expanding your beliefs of what is possible for your life. Again, this will happen naturally as your confidence grows. But you should also commit to being proactive with the process. Confidence gives you the courage, it gives you the energy, it gives you the belief that yes, I can, yes, I will, and yes, it can happen to me as well. Chapter 5, Believing You Deserve More. Have you ever noticed that confident people are also certain of their own worth? Not only do they have the confidence to follow their dreams, they know with certainty that they deserve the good things that they seek in life. So as you build your confidence and get reconnected with your own inner self, your self-worth should begin to grow in proportion also. However, there are things you can do to help the process go along even further or more smoothly for yourself. The first involves developing an understanding of why we feel so lousy about ourselves in the first place. What really causes low self-worth? Being constantly criticized by others, especially authority figures, lowers our self-worth. I remember in one of my books, I have written over 40 books now, but I remember in my first books, I was writing about my life growing up in Zimbabwe. And one of the things that at that time was still haunting me were these kids in primary school. I think that would be kindergarten over here now, that used to tease me and, mock me for no reason at all and criticize me for no reason at all. And I remember that at first we used to walk home together. And then at some point, they didn't want to walk with me. So they would get out of school. They would talk to each other and get out of school a little earlier. So by the time the school bell rings for us to leave at home, I'm waiting for everyone. And I see them all the way out there. And then they would say, bye, boss, calling me a boss and saying, bye, boss. And so as a child, because I haven't done anything, why are you calling me a boss? And in all of this, right? I didn't know, so I would cry and start walking by myself, and I'm walking, out of the gate. But now I'm by myself, and I don't know what I have done. But little did I know that caused a lot of low self-worth within myself, that, it affected me until into my adult years, that I constantly felt like I had to prove myself. I had to prove that I haven't done anything, but I'm worthy. And, I'm a good person, and I wanted to prove myself to others, to friends, to lovers, and especially authority figures. So that's one of those things that I remember from my childhood. The other reasons why, people feel low self-worth is being bullied by peers, criticizing or berating ourselves for our own mistakes also lowers our self-worth. Consistent negative reinforcement from others or ourselves, telling ourselves that we're not good enough, that we didn't do enough, blaming ourselves for abuse or things that were done to us by others lowers our self-worth. Believing the negative things that people say about us also lowers our self-worth. So you are likely, to recognize many of these examples in your own life as well. Maybe now or in the past. However, what I want you to understand, that as badly as others may have abused you, picked up on you, or, put you down, you have every right to pick up where they left off and define your life your way. If you grew up with a critical mother that always had something negative to say about you or your accomplishments, or you had people around you that said you were worthless and you were worth nothing, you may feel that those people or even your mother are to blame for your self-worth. She may have initiated the process, but you continued with the way that you continue to believe those words way into your adult life. So now what you begin to understand is it wasn't her hurtful words that caused your problems. It was your decision to believe her and to believe those people. The same goes for any bullies that you faced in your lifetime. Any impossible to please bosses, critical friends, lovers, demanding spouses, your decision or choice to believe them is now what causes lower self-worth. So in order to turn this around, you need to begin to believe in yourself again. You need to shift your perception of yourself from a worthless person of no value to a person of great value and capability. How do you do that? Great question. Positive reinforcement will do it. Just like negative reinforcement can wear you down, wear your self-worth down, positive reinforcement from yourself and from others can begin to build back your self-confidence. And yes, I'm going to talk about a few ideas of where you can begin, because I'm sure you're going, okay, where do I begin? Here are just a few ideas. Treat yourself with kindness, compassion, and love. Do something nice for yourself for a change. Make it a priority to get enough rest. Take good care of yourself and speak kindly to yourself. If you catch yourself speaking negatively about yourself to others, or even sometimes mentally berating yourself, stop and change your language to a more positive focus. Express kindness and love to others. Well, this may not seem to be related to your own self-worth, but remember that people are inclined to treat you the way that you treat them. So make an effort to compliment the people in your life more often, wholeheartedly. Speak kindly and offer to help others in whatever way that you can. That doesn't mean neglect yourself and become a doormat. Keep these activities in balance with your own self-care. But in general, make an effort to reach out to others in positive ways. This will encourage them to reciprocate, and you will receive positive reinforcement from others. The more that you do it, the more that you will receive. You know, it's almost the same thing as giving. When you give, and I do this all the time, when I take my last dime that I have and give someone, somewhere, somehow, somebody else finds it in themselves to give me back that and some more. Somehow. I even get new clients signing up, or I'll get somebody just saying, I just got instilled to just send you this $100. And I'm going, whoa, I just gave my last 50. How did you know? To myself. So it's the same thing when you are complimenting others, others will compliment you. And that's what we want, for that inner voice, that inner child, that inner you to begin to know and understand and acknowledge your inner strengths and the good that is within you. But I want you to note, it does not work the same in abusive relationships. Because very often in abusive relationships, many of the people that are in abusive relationships are trying by all means at every which way they can to be nicer to their abusers. But the more abusive, the more an abuser gets all this nice treatment and everything, they become more abusive. So it doesn't work in an abusive relationship. An abusive relationship becomes even worse. So it doesn't get better by you becoming a better person and doing nicer things to that person that is abused. So I just wanted to point that out, that it doesn't work in an abusive relationship being nicer. We're talking about non-abusive relationships and non-abusive environments, that if you do nice, you will get nice back in return. Keep affirming your positive qualities. Read over the list that you made whilst you were completing those exercises in previous chapters. Make new lists about your growing accomplishments. Honor the unique aspects of yourself and constantly strive to discover more and more great things about yourself. The more you focus on growing yourself as a person, the more things about yourself that you'll find, and the more that you feel good and proud of yourself. The great thing about all of these activities that we have covered so far is that they are self-maintaining, and you can do them at your own pace in your own time. As you build your confidence, you'll notice your self-worth increasing also. As you focus on increasing your self-worth, your confidence will also grow. As you focus on expanding your vision, you begin to believe in your capabilities more and more, and you begin trusting yourself, and you feel a deeper connection to your inner self, and on it goes. When you believe in yourself, you are unstoppable, and there's nothing anybody can say or do that will make you believe otherwise, because you will know yourself and you will know what you deserve, what you're capable of. So doing any and all of these activities will result in growth and healing in other areas as well. And the further along in the process you get, the more effortless that it becomes. Don't forget that part of affirming yourself is also doing what we call affirmations, positive statements that you say to yourself so that you can continue to build on your confidence. What are some of those positive statements? Some of the positive ones that I have right in front of me right now that I know I was saying to myself this morning. Let me just go ahead and tell you some of those. I trust that the universe is bringing me everything that I wish for. I am creating my dream life. I attract whatever I focus my thoughts on. I deserve to have a good life. I can have, be, or do anything I desire. Money flows to me freely. I am a money magnet. My talents, gifts, and skills are constantly being monetized. The universe is bringing me my perfect soulmate. I'm deserving of love. I am love. Love fills my life and my heart. Love is all around me. My body is healthy and strong. I am happy, healthy, and attractive. I am healthy. I am beautiful. I am grateful for my health. I love, respect, and care for my body every day. I decide my own destiny. I have the power to create my dream life. I choose what I become. I always accomplish everything that I set out to do. I am following my heart and my dreams. I have a clear vision of what I want to achieve in life. The universe is on my side and is helping me achieve every one of my goals. I am doing everything that it takes to be successful in life. I am aligned with the goals that I have in life. And lastly, every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. If you want a copy of all of these affirmations, please email me at DrStem14@gmail.com, DrStem14@gmail.com, and I'll send you a copy of these affirmations that you can print out and read them over and over all the time. Chapter 6, Becoming What You Desire. I'm about to share a powerful technique with you, something that can change everything in a split second. It's simple, and it's something you can do anywhere, at any time, if and when you do it. It does take a bit of practice to fully master, but after only a few tries, you should be an old pro at it. What is this amazing technique? Become what you desire. If you desire to be confident, become confident. If you desire to be successful, become successful. If you desire to be wealthy, become wealthy. You may be like wondering what the heck I'm talking about. Isn't this the old act as if technique Like fake it until you make it? Not quite. Not quite. What I'm proposing is an actual mental shift. Not faking, but becoming. It seems like the same thing, but is vastly different. When you fake something, you are aware that you're faking it. You're an actor playing a role. You're not becoming something or someone else. You are simply pretending to be something or someone else. Therefore, you're not fully invested in the process. Therefore, you do not receive the full benefits. On the other hand, when you become what you desire, you are stepping into a new reality. Even if this new reality exists only in your mind, it's more than acting. It's shifting your mindset so that you can feel what you would feel if it were your reality, and you think what you would think if it were your reality, and you do what you would do if it were your reality. Can you sense the power in this technique? It's actually incredibly effective. So here's how you begin. First, consider what you want to become. You can start with something simple to begin with, like becoming happy, peaceful, or motivated. Take a deep, slow breath. And relax your body and your mind. Take another deep breath. And breathe out. Then think about what you want to become and consider the feelings that would go along with it. If you want to become happy, you'd likely experience feelings of lightheartedness, joy, peace. You'll be smiling, you'll be laughing, maybe humming, or even dancing for no reason, as if no one is watching. So once you affirm a mental picture of this state of mind, you mentally shift into that mindset of just becoming happy, lightheartedness, smiling, being joyful, and just happy. Imagine stepping into what it is that you want to become smoothly and just going into one state of mind to another. And if you do it correctly, you should start feeling just happy, just peaceful, just joyful. And all of a sudden, you just start feeling lightly. Your spirit just lifts. And you just have this awareness of everything around you. You just have this awareness of everything working out, of everything coming together. The same way you can have this sense of happiness when you decide that I want to become a happier person, a more peaceful person, you can use this very same technique to boost your confidence through the roof. I'll tell you one of the things that I did when I started learning about this. It was at a conference, and we were told to imagine the car that we wanted to drive. And of course, I went, closed my eyes, and I was imagining being in this BMW that had leather seats inside. And I love music, so my radio has to be one that has speakers, surround speakers. And I'm playing my songs, and I'm dancing in there, and I'm driving, but it's just so smooth. And when I sit in there, it's like, oh, wow, I love the feel of the leather seats. And I remember in my imagination, I would hold the steering wheel. And for most of the luxury cars, they have their emblem right there in the center of the steering wheel, right? And you just feel it. And I would feel the circle of the BMW in there. And it just felt good and it felt real, right? And all of a sudden, it wasn't long when I walked into a BMW dealership and drove out with a brand new BMW that I had to take the plastics off. And I'm thinking, this was the BMW that I felt and dreamt of for years. I was just feeling it, and I would wake up and I would just play my music, and I had pictures of the BMW everywhere. So it works. It works. So you can use this very same technique to boost your confidence through the roof for anything that it is that you desire, that you want to have, and start to feel it and begin to feel it. The other exercise, that will help you increase your confidence over a long-term, period, is a technique that can help you feel more confident at any time that you need to. So, at its core, a lack of confidence simply reveals a limiting belief. A belief that you're not good enough, strong enough, you don't deserve. So, turning it around and having a belief that you do deserve it, that you can have it, that you can do it, that you have done it, that you have tried it, and you can try again. One of the things that really helped me in everything that I do is this little poem that we used to do when we were growing up. Try, try, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try, try, try again. Even now, today, as an adult, I keep reminding myself that try, try, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try, try, try again. So this becomes a technique that helps me change underlying beliefs of I can't, I won't, or it won't happen to me. As you shift into a mindset of self-confidence, unshakable confidence, you are in fact choosing to believe that you are already confident. You are telling your subconscious mind that your old beliefs were unproductive and you're choosing to embrace new beliefs. Let's go through the process of becoming confident. As with the previous example, spend a few moments relaxing your mind and your body. Do again some slow, deep breathing exercises. Breathe in and let all the tension flow out of your muscles. Imagine what it feels like to be confident, to be absolutely convinced of your ability to do anything and everything that you put your mind to. Imagine the sense of self-assurance and centeredness that would accompany such a belief. Then I want you to mentally shift into this new state of being. Instantly, you should feel the difference. Fear, doubt, and anxiety will just dissipate and be replaced by clarity, inner strength, purpose, joy, self-belief, and self-assurance. If that doesn't come right away, don't worry. Remember, it'll probably take some time, some practice. Because you've been thinking one way for a long time, you've been doing things one way for a long time, and all of a sudden, you're beginning to slowly change the things that you believe in, the things that you've been thinking, the story that has been holding you, and you're just changing into a story that helps you but doesn't hurt or harm you. Once you get comfortable with using this technique of being able to change and shift your mindset, wow, everything begins to change faster than you believed possible. You suddenly realize that you have much more control over your thoughts and emotions than you ever suspected. You'll be able to choose your mindset. You'll be able to control your reactions to any situations. Instead of reacting, you respond. You'll be able to decide your confidence level and boost your own self-worth, all by performing a simple mental shift. Here's to your success. And yes, you can do it. Chapter 7, Motivation for Next Steps. After listening to this audiobook, you may be feeling ready to tackle low self-confidence, self-doubt, and low self-worth and begin to change your life in a more extraordinary way. This is a wonderful feeling, and I encourage you to hang on to that motivation for as long as you possibly can. But I also want to insert a warning here. Motivation in itself has a way of diminishing when challenges appear. So right now you may feel convinced that you can increase your confidence and transform every aspect of your life into something profound and meaningful. And yes, you can. However, be sure to keep in mind that building your confidence is an ongoing process. The going may be rough at the beginning, and it may be rough in the middle sometime. But when you have these concepts and you have mastered this process, it will be easier when you get stuck someday again. You'll be able to come back to this moment and redo these exercises, write them down, and reframe your mindset again so that you can begin to find that light that is within you and allow it to shine. You might find yourself faltering when your face changes or, you bump into inner blockages, and those will happen. So during those times, let your fear and uncertainty be the fuel that pushes you through the rough spots. The more you can work on your fear and doubt, the quicker that you see real progress in your life. Here's the good news. All you need to do is begin with one tiny seed of belief that your life can be better, that you can be stronger, and that you have what it takes to make lasting changes. This one tiny seed of belief will be enough to give you the courage to stretch a tour beyond the limits of your comfort zone. Once you've stretched that tour over the line, you start craving for more and more and more. And the further along the path of self-discovery and self-belief that you go, when you know yourself, you know yourself. It just seems to get easier and easier. In the meantime, be gentle with yourself through this process. Be willing to push yourself, but not too hard. Take little steps at a time and keep striving for growth and progress. Even if it's slow, give yourself credit for trying and going at it little by little. Once you begin seeing some positive changes taking place, you'll be eager to push yourself a little bit harder. But until then, remember, one step at a time will still get you there. Chapter 8, Conclusion. Finding and fulfilling your unique purpose in life, fulfilling the deepest desire of your heart. We at the DrStem Empowerment Academy believe in the sense of community and support. We have created programs and collaborations that will allow you and other women that are involved in our programs to be able to fulfill your unique purpose in life and also the desires of your heart. I want to invite you to join our membership at www.drstemi.com, because the outstanding programs that we have, they represent many years of implementation and application and everything that you need to accomplish the most amazing transformation of your life. So as a member, you will enjoy programs and workshops and coaching that will include programs like Discover Your Unique Calling, Stay on Track, Achieve Your Mission, Overcoming Obstacles in Your Life, Getting from Theory to Making It Happen, Identifying Your Most Important Aspects of Your Life, How to Ensure that you achieve your goals, Overcoming Self-Sabotage, and many more programs that you'll find in there. So I would like to invite you to schedule a free discovery session with me or one of the coaches at the Empowerment Academy. And what we will do is help you develop a program that will work for you and your unique self. You deserve to live a healthy, wealthy, and happy life. So if you have enjoyed this book, please subscribe to the DrStem Be Encouraged channel right on YouTube, because there are more books that are coming, and all of them will inspire you, encourage you, empower you to build a better, healthy, happier, and wealthier lifestyle. So subscribe to the channel and also share the book and invite your friends and colleagues to subscribe to our channel and also listen and do these exercises. I always find that many people that invite others and together you can listen to the book and do each chapter together, that also works a great deal. Or if you are a member of a church and you get one of these books and every member just goes on YouTube, it's free, and they can listen to it and write their exercises, and then you process it as a group. That usually works very well as well. So don't hesitate to use any of these books or programs that we have here on YouTube for your programs as well. Or if you're a coach, a counselor, you certainly can share these with your clients, and they too can benefit from the programs. I also have a show. It's titled The DrStem Show and Podcast. It's also on YouTube. I want to invite you to also find the DrStem Show and Podcast, subscribe to that, and see the audios and videos of interviews that I have done of people and guests that have shared their stories, again, that are there to inspire, encourage, and empower you. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest, I'm always open and looking for guests. Please email me at drstemshow@gmail.com. 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 I have enjoyed sharing this book with you. Unshakable Confidence. This is Dr. Stem. Be encouraged.
Are you ready to live your best life? You deserve to wake up in the morning feeling excited about the day ahead. Don't waste any more time putting off your heart's desires. Embrace your passionate, joyful life with our brand new Unstoppable Renew You Love Your Life 90-day coaching program. Discover what makes your heart sing. Together we'll set meaningful goals and craft a path to a life you absolutely love. Are you ready to be free, fearless, and unstoppable? Visit our website at www.drstemi.com to learn more and book a free discovery call.